Hi everyone, my name is Panos. I'm a co-founder of NetBeez, and I'll be talking about the Wi-Fi part of our product today. So we started as an agent-based monitoring company for wired networks, and within a year, after our first betas, people started asking, okay, everything is great, we'll do the same on the Wi-Fi now, right? And of course, the reason was because we're talking with universities, customers with many campuses, and they were talking about the disconnect between the tickets opened by users when there's an issue on the Wi-Fi specifically, which of course the user is going to complain about what is in their devices, right? That's the end user experience we're talking about jittery VoIP, buffering Netflix, general connection issues to the Wi-Fi. And of course, wireless engineers, when they go to troubleshoot, they have to think about different set of problems that might be causing what the user really experiences. So there was this disconnect between what the user sees and what the wireless engineer can see without sending boots on the ground to go and troubleshoot with the device, with the laptop, on the location itself. So we're trying to bridge this gap between the two. And the way we do it is by using agents that are deployed where the users are, right? So think about a remote site, a big auditorium in a school, in a remote site with small offices that natively they don't have any local IT, of course, for support or troubleshooting use cases. So the agent is deployed where the users are. They connect to the Wi-Fi network as another user, and they run synthetic monitoring, simulating user experience, telling you if they can access essential applications, the internet, and measuring service performance like DNS, if the HCP works, bandwidth, speed test, and so on and so forth. It's a very interesting use case that we recently started working on with a customer, and it, I think, amplifies a couple of essential points of our solution is that how easy to install and the information you can give for the Wi-Fi performance. Turtec is a company that does field events. So they essentially every week they're going to deploy a Wi-Fi infrastructure at a remote site. It was Lollapalooza yesterday, last week, I think. And literally every week they're going to deploy the Wi-Fi infrastructure in an unknown environment with lots of people coming in and out. And they use NetBeez to monitor their Wi-Fi network. And so they had to do this weekly. And this demonstrates how easy it is to install this overlay network of sensors. Since they do it every week, it has to be easy and frictionless. And also gives them this information they need to make sure that the SLAs are met for the event they support. And when something happens, they know it very quickly, right? Imagine now having thousands of concert attendees not being to post on Instagram, right? It's an issue these days. So they have to be there and fix these issues as soon as possible. So we released earlier this year a new Wi-Fi agent. So it looks like this. Has PoE supported inside and has a more compact design than the previous version we had. It's 802.11ac. Yep. 802.11ac. I'm sure you are curious about AX these days. We're not there yet, but it's going to come. I don't know if there are any AX clients even right now out there. Right? I've seen some in the wild, but nothing really en masse, I think. Supports DFS channels, and yeah, it's. With that, of course, we released a bunch of new Wi-Fi features. In every release that is coming out now, every new release of NetBeez, we put lots of effort to improve our Wi-Fi monitoring capabilities. I'm going to demonstrate a few right now. And I'm going to show you what metrics we collect on the Wi-Fi side. A couple of versions ago, we released the SSID hopping, which gives you the ability to monitor now multiple SSIDs with one agent, right? So because the agent connects to a specific Wi-Fi access point and SSID network to do its monitoring as another client, if you have multiple SSIDs, like typically 3 or 4 in enterprise, Now you can, with one agent, monitor all those 4 ones, right, by doing this hopping. With that hopping capability as an extension, you can do the connection timing of the agents. You can check if your DHCP works by testing again and again connections of the Wi-Fi client. And in our last release, we also show you on the dashboard timing around DHCP and WPA logs that again help you to understand how things, what goes wrong when things go wrong. Right? So I'm going to switch now to demo. Okay, so this is our dashboard. I'm going to focus on the Wi-Fi aspects. This is what we call the buzz view, a high-level view of your dashboard for all your agents, different tests you are running. Obviously, green means things are okay, red not that okay. But let's look a little bit at our agent view here. So here we have a collection of agents. We have 20 on this demo. And what I want to stress out is we're talking about Wi-Fi here, but we have all different kinds of agents, right, that give you the ability to cover all aspects of your network. We talked earlier about our Docker agent we just released. This runs right now on Stefanos' laptop. Okay, so on an end user device, we have our Wi-Fi agents, cloud on Amazon and Google, a virtual agent for your VM infrastructure, and your wired agents. So again, covering all aspects and corners of your network. Now, at the high level, I would go first to the Wi-Fi tab here, where I can configure different Wi-Fi networks. This is, essentially, each network is an SSID. And then from here, you can choose which agents you want to connect to specific SSID or do the hopping we're talking about. So to demonstrate that a little bit better, let's take this agent here in our office in Pittsburgh. And you can see here right now is connected on our guest network. And you see 2 sets of tests. That's because it's monitoring 2 SSIDs at the same time. We're in round-robin fashion. So every, I think, 15 minutes, it runs tests on the Netbiz SSID, then switches to the Netbiz guest SSID, and keeps doing that continuously, right? You can have up to 4 of these. And of course, all the data and all the alerting is split between the different SSIDs whenever something goes wrong.
Does it wait 15 minutes and then run both tests, or does it split that 15 minutes up and run one at 7.5 and the other one at 7.5?
So you choose a 15 minutes. Actually, let me show you the historical, and that's going to answer the question. If you run a 15-minute, let's say, interval, so 15 minutes on this SSID, then there's a gap because it switched to another SSID.
Oh, so it runs 4. Gotcha.
Yeah, so it goes back and forth, right? I think given time, of course, can connect to only one SSID, right, like any other client. So this is like the real-time information, the real-time data, and the historical. On the wireless tab here, you can see, again, historical and real-time information around things like link quality, signal strength, what bitrate has negotiated with the access point. This goes back, of course, to the detection troubleshooting use case, where, again, waiting for the user to report something is not the fastest way to detect a problem. And then, of course, you have to rely on, on user often, right, on user feedback on when the problem started, who is affected. But with our historical specifically, you are able to do that, right, by going back in time for days or weeks. So here you see, for example, again, the hopping, where every 15 minutes it hops from one SSID to the other with these vertical lollipops, as they call them. On the bottom here, in our log, something we had in our previous release, actually last release, is information about, among others, DHCP timing. So we see here what DHCP requests the agent did, when they happened, how long they took to complete, and if they failed, you would see that here too. In our next release, actually, we're going to have a pretty, I would say, presentation of this with a nice diagram where it shows you timing, failures, aggregate results among different agents, how many maybe DHCP failures you have, if the agent fails to connect because they managed to associate, or it failed authentication because of the radio server being down, or because of a wrong password, even, right? When you fat finger, let's say, a password.
Are you seeing interference as well?
So interference, like you mean like spectrum analysis? Yep. No, we don't do that, right? So we'll tell you, like the typical client can see like signal strength, right? When does roaming, for example, knows what the signal strength is with every access point, and I give you that information.
Okay.
So we talked today a little bit about, Docker and how we install we support different technologies. Here on the dashboard, we also give you a GUI console that's common for all agents. Every box, of course, every one of these agents, including the Docker one, right? The operating system is a Debian-based Linux. So if you're comfortable with Linux, we give you the ability here to have a GUI console that you can use to do whatever you want, pretty much. You can use it for some ad hoc troubleshooting, run an nmap command, let's say run test maybe if a firewall works by running a telnet command, right? Let's say if you're going to get to google.com and test if port 3 is open as it should be, you can do stuff like that. If you're not familiar with Linux, I'm running a series of blog posts. I'm trying to educate people around this on our website. We try to have an open platform so that everybody can, work on it to the level of skill, right? The GUI is nice, but sometimes we drill down, and that's where this comes in, for example. Okay. And and just to demonstrate a little bit what can you monitor with NetBeez, I have here a set of targets. So the way to manage the agents, so we talked earlier about how to start an agent, for example, in a Docker demo, right? So once you do that, you have all the management happening here from the dashboard for your, let's say, any type of agent, including the Cat 9000 or hardware Wi-Fi. So here you can specify what application services you want to monitor, DNS, HTTP, and then on each specific, let's say, target you want to monitor, you can add agents, split them into the way you want to do it by grouping them in different locations or services. And the last thing I would say, on the Wi-Fi tab, here I mentioned earlier that these are the networks you can support. You can have multiple SSIDs, of course. There's no limit to that. You can hop between up to four SSIDs for each agent. I think that's practical. I had to put a limit there for practical purposes. Of course, we support 11AX, and WPA3 actually is coming out soon as well. And with that, we have a few minutes for questions. Anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to entertain.
So up to 4 SSIDs, that's 15 minutes per, which means you have an hour. You basically in 1 hour, you test each SSID once.
The interval is configurable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yes. You can go down to 5 and up to 8 hours, I think. So
okay.
You don't have not like pre-configured. You can choose whatever interval makes sense for you.
Okay.
Can you change it on the fly?
Yeah.
I need to connect to this guy. Somebody on guest is having an issue. Let's go ahead and...
Yeah, you can change it if you want to remove an agent from the hopping because let's say something happened or I want to monitor only my guest in that location, Wi-Fi. You can specify that, okay, you got this agent in the lobby, let's say, stick with the guest Wi-Fi for the next 24 hours because I want to collect specific data on that.
Gotcha.
Is there any kind of automation where if you start to see a problem, it starts running those tests more often?
So this is something that you can do with the API.
The API.
It's not like native on the app, on the GUI, but with API that we demoed earlier, you can pull the data, build your logic, and then do that as you just said, right?
Gotcha.
So.